Guys, check this out. A 1 terabyte flash drive for $20. That is insane. 2 terabytes for $40? Why, that's even better. What do you take me for? Some kind of gullible idiot? Anyone with half a brain cell would be able to just scroll down, do the research, and just think it through, right? Right below it is a bigger form factor hard drive, same capacity, and it's $53. Why is this so much more expensive, right? This doesn't add up. Just use your brain for a second and think it through, right? If a memory cell company manages to shrink their memory cells such that they fit into smaller form factors like a flash drive or a micro SD card, right? Obviously, they should charge more. So this flash drive is way underpriced, and therefore it's a scam, right? Like, what the heck? Who would actually fall for this? You would actually have to be an idiot. Oh my goodness. This is Darwinism, natural selection at its finest. If you fail for this, you're like just selected out of the process. You wouldn't even survive the jungle. You're on the bottom of the food chain. Like, oh my God. Oh man. So obvious it's a scam. What the? Just ordered a couple of 1 terabyte thumb drives for $30 each. I still find myself awestruck by tech progress. I desperately wanted a 10 megabyte hard drive for my IIGS as a teen, but didn't have the $400. 1 million times cheaper per byte, 1,000 times faster, and 100 times smaller now, alright? So 2 days later, he follows up with this. The $30 thumb drives were a fraud. They show up as 1 TB, but LSUSB reports it as a 4 GB USB 2 device. I should have bought a $45 1 TB hard drive. What the heck is going on? This is John Carmack we're talking about. Pioneer of 3D games, Doom, Wolfenstein, Quake. He works 12 hours a day programming. He doesn't ever burn out. He doesn't understand the concept of work-life balance because he just loves his work so much. He loves programming, he loves science, and he loves engineering. Oculus VR, aerospace engineering as a hobby. He's the only one that I know of that can make bold claims like, hey, some parts of AAA game development are more complex than rocket science. And if you tweet him, he can pretty much break down the case-by-case basis in, very specific details, right? He's not like Elon Musk where, you kind of don't know what he does. Is he like the main investor, just the PR person? As far as I know, John Carmack, he's like actually in the weeds, in the battlefields of, actual engineering. So, yeah. Anyways, that side tangent apart, it made me wonder, how could someone regarded as so smart fall for a scam that I think is kind of really obvious? So, while I can't speak for John himself, I think we can all take some educated guesses here, all right? So, Amazon, he must have trusted Amazon to never have these fake listings in a way, right? Because why would Amazon allow fake listings in the first place? From a business perspective, right, if these are actually fake, in which they are, right, Amazon's reputation could be damaged. But then, of course, you have to remember that Amazon is too big to fail. And, I guess sometimes you just forget that. That's all right, and then harping on that. Well, surely these are kind of vetted, right? Like Seagate, SanDisk, Western Digital, and Samsung. All you gotta do is just go talk to these companies, ask them, hey, what's the cost to produce a 1 terabyte flash drive right about now? What's the average selling point price for you guys? So, take the average and make sure that we flag anything that is below this price just in case, right? Like they could have done that. And I can see if, John had a high viewing of Amazon, that they would actually do this, but they didn't, and etc. All right. Another pitfall is that, well, maybe he didn't do his research. Maybe he didn't read the reviews. Or maybe he did read the reviews and did his research and thought, well, maybe these other people just had a bad batch. I don't know. Point is, he thought these were real and he ordered them. And this brings me to the segue of the main point, in which how similar methods of reasoning also almost got me scammed out of $10,000. All right, so this is where the video gets a lot more rambly. I'm just going to freestyle this and just have fun because I'm very tired. I'm still sick with the flu and everything's here in written form. Like there's only like 13 points you have to read and this TLDR and you get the entire story. I got complaints that, hey, this is too long, right? No, it's only like this and then the rest is evidence. So yeah, and these are like really short sentences here. So, whatever. So anyway, let's just, have fun laughing at this because it's kind of hilarious in hindsight about how this happened. Right. All right. So, so I got hired as a software engineer by AutoNation. Is AutoNation a real company? Yes, it is. It's based in Florida. They're pretty rich. I'm based in California, right? And they were supposed to ship me office supplies. So let me just scroll down to that. Evidence is all down below because I want, the TLDRs to, just get what they need and go out. So, Apple iMac Pro, dual monitor, external hard drive, set of furniture, etc. When I actually skimmed most of the emails, most of this stuff, because I was busy, right? And I'll go into that a little bit more later. But I skimmed most of this, and when I saw, set of furniture and filing cabinets, I thought, I don't even have enough room, and why are they sending me this stuff? I guess they're just super rich and just want me to have everything. They also told me later on that I'm supposed to help out with the California branch. So I was like, well, maybe, I don't know. I guess I need this stuff. And they also said, you got to keep all this stuff. So I was like, hey, yay, free stuff, right? They're a mega rich corporation. So I was like, maybe we don't care. This is like pennies to them. So whatever. But I was like weirded out by high-speed internet access, etc. I was just not, just still didn't occur to me that this was a scam just yet. All right, so let's just go back up and then we continue where I left off. So yeah, they were supposed to ship me all those office supplies, but issues cropped up. They said, hey, we need your name on the receipt because in case you need to return things or you need to keep these, materials after 12 weeks of working with us. Your name has to be on the receipt. And I was like, all right, yeah, that makes sense. So, excuse me, kind of burping. Okay. Yeah, so they were like, all right, we're going to give you this check instead. And yeah, so I was like, all right, I got the check. And then they asked to wire transfer $9K to buy it from the vendor. And that's around the time when I snapped out of it. And yeah, the scam is they send a fake check and time pressure you to cash it in. There are some differences though, right? So let me talk about the differences about how the scam usually goes down. So according to a commenter and, other sources, what usually goes down is that they overpay you, right? They're like, hey, we gave you 8K. This is way too much for the supplies listed above. You got to wire this transfer this back. And it's a counting mistake. We're sorry. So yeah, in my case, it's a little different because I had more than enough to pay for the office supplies. And this is actually hilarious. So I had more than enough, right? And so they asked for a deposit slip as evidence for cashing in the check, right? So I was like, a deposit slip? What the heck is a deposit slip? I look up and it's you go to the bank teller, you have the deposit slip from your checking book thing, and could be a faster way to, cash the check more quickly. So I thought I messed up. I entered it via the ATM machine, and it's going to take 7 days instead of, 3 or whatever days it takes for the deposit slip. So I was like, do I send the chat logs that are up there if you want to read. I'm kind of too lazy to scroll up right now. So I told him, I was like, oh, dude, I messed up, right? I told my friend this too. Is it okay? Like I kind of had more than enough. So yeah, and it's going to take 7 days, etc. I had more than enough, right? And while I was like taking a picture of this deposit slip, I was actually self-talking to myself, like looking at this, Chase receipt, and then thinking, oh, is my checking account PIN number on here? I kind of don't want to show it. Oh, I don't want them to see my balance either, because what if this check bounces? Like it was slowly morphing into my head that this was a scam, but like at the same time it wasn't. So like I remember telling myself that, right? So yeah, it takes 7 days to clear, etc. Keep in mind, this is 9:10 in the morning. I woke up at freaking 6 o'clock, and so sleep deprived. It's cold as heck in the morning, and I'm out there. I'm just like, waiting for the bank to open, and then going to the ATM machine and just going, like, my mood was like, man, I just want to get this done. Like, how you renew your DMV license. That's how it felt. I was like, just want to cash this check, do the things, whatever he says. And, just move on with my day. It felt like a DMV license renewal. Right? I guess that was my headspace at the time. and I just want to get this done. It's so early in the morning. I'm so tired. I'm still sick, and move on with my day, and start work on Monday or whatever they say, right? So yeah, I think, was there anything else I want to elaborate this? No, I think I elaborated on most of what I wanted to say. Yeah, so different in the user case. I didn't owe them anything, and I was already skeptical. It was really weirdly morphing into my brain as to I don't want them to see my PIN number and my current balance because it was a scam. I mean, it wasn't a scam then. I didn't say that until way later, but it just was for whatever reason, was like weirdly morphing. Right, so let's go over some of the points here. I already went up. Oh, yeah, I'm not too well accustomed with the job hiring process. So yeah, I only had like one other job before this. So yeah, it wasn't like I had like 10 job hiring processes and I can pull my knowledge from all of them because, I was so used to them. No, like, yeah, I actually I memorized one thing, which is like, when they ask you to take the picture of your driver's license, you need the front and back, right? And they only ask for the front. And you can, say, hey, why didn't this trigger your alarm bells? Well, I thought, hey, if they needed the back, they'll just tell me later on. I can just make it up for it later, right? So, yeah. Brand new work-only email, right? So, what is it? This is a new email that I never used before. It's only for work. And I only ever used it like on Indeed and like some other job applying sites. But like no one knows this email exists. So how can they even, send me scam mail, right? What is it? I get scam mail a lot on my main emails, right? They're like, hey, your USP package, USPS package, what is it? It has been, delayed or stolen or whatever. Click this link to find out more, or, you got to claim it or whatever. I get a ton of those. I get like a lot of text messages from that, a lot of emails from those that are misspelled, etc. And I just ignore them because I don't order anything, and this family doesn't really order anything. So, yeah. But this, why did it not click? Well, I was looking for a job. This email is brand new, so it doesn't get as much scam and spam emails as my normal emails. And yeah, I only really use this on Indeed and other places. So the thought that this was, a scam really kind of just never occurred to me, right? So you can see why this is a lot worse than, all the others that are posting. Yeah. And by that, I mean, right over here. So someone's daughter, on this discussion, got scammed in a similar way, a remote work position as an office coordinator. She graduated with a liberal arts degree, wanted to make use of it. She has a dog, so working from home, and got a pay raise from this job. Like, this remote job was offering her $25, and instead of the $16 that she was currently making, right? My case, like all these compounded cases, plus it didn't stand out for me in my case. This was a software developer job, and I think, did I mention this? I'm so tired, I forgot. I asked a few of my software developer friends, hey, is this, a reasonable salary for a job of this caliber? And they're like, yeah, it's pretty normal. And I Googled it, and I was like, what is it? Average pay for a software developer, and it was like on the range. So I was like, all right, I guess it's nothing suspicious. Why did it not trip you up? Because I asked for 40 initially. Let me just control F this. That's actually way easier to navigate around. My brain is finally working now, guys. Slowly morphing into working. So I asked for 40 and they said 45. And I was like, huh. They said 45 somewhere. I'm not going to scroll through it. So I was like, huh. That's a nice pay raise. But, I don't know. I guess they wanted to keep all the accounting straight. Like, it's easier to punch in the numbers if everyone's number is like the exact same. So I didn't kind of really think much of that. Yeah. What is it? Yeah, so I didn't have some of the red flags that some other people had, right? And, I probably might have not have noticed this the same way she did too, right? Like, you're kind of happy and, yeah. But compounded with some other factors, I think this was like, as I said here, like this kind of was the best opportunity probably in my entire lifetime that you would be able to scam me, right? Yeah. Next is I very much trusted Indeed and etc. I thought they were like the pinnacle of, employer auditing, and they'd only post people to the audit, etc. That's kind of not the case, right? And yeah, I still find it kind of weird they got a hold of my email, whoever the scammers were. Yeah, less than 5 hours of sleep. Mentioned I'm pretty sleep deprived. Once I get up, I can't fall back asleep, guys. I don't know what it is. Like, you guys have this, like when you wake up, the day instantly pops in your head and you go to work. I guess I had like things I wanted to work on that I was really excited for. It is down here that I'll mention soon. I mass sent on applications and lost track of them. Yeah, so this might have not been Indeed's fault, actually. Like, in a sense that I never applied for a job at AutoNation looking at my history at Indeed, right? So I don't know where the email came from, though. Nonetheless, just keep going forward. I was stupid busy working on my game because I wanted to leave it on a good state so that, in case work got too heavy and, I'm unable to work for it because I'm burned out through the day, that I can, ship out this big patch and come back to it in a good state and not have it be like this mess in the middle of implementing a feature and then having to like go, 6 months forgetting everything and then coming back and going, what was I doing again? Oh man. So I really wanted to get this done. And this led me to skimming a lot of the emails. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I was happy that I was employed, that I was, getting employed, supposedly. And what is it? At the same time, I temper my expectations, right? Like C# web development, whatever, enterprise business software. Like, that's not my calling. I know I want to work on this game, right? So, I was like, all right, it's going to be, I never worked with C# stuff before. It's going to be fun for the first few weeks as I unravel their application and stuff, application, whatever, stack or whatever. And, yeah, I was temperamenting like, but then, you're just going to, after a month or whatever, you're just going to, maybe be bored. So I was like really tempering my, what is it? I was not trying to romanticize this, right? Like too much. And, So yeah, I was looking forward to the job. Software, the reviews, I looked at the company reviews and they were actually pretty good. They said the company was pretty nice and welcoming, etc. Good things to say, good place to work for. I was like, wow, maybe this is why. Like, their onboarding process is pretty easy. I'll go into the interview process a little later. They don't treat their programmers like leet code monkeys that, have to memorize data structures and all these algorithms that they rarely use at the job. And, if they did have to use it on the job, they can look it up or use someone's implementation or whatever, right? It's still very weird that they're not testing me at least a little, that I at least know like how to program, but I guess whatever, right? This is why they have high reviews, right? Still a very weird rationale, but that was the one my brain hopped to. So these were the ones I got a ton of complaints about. Well, a ton of red flags in regards to grammar and spelling. How did this not throw you off? Well, I thought it was some foreign recruiter. I make typos all the time. There's a funny clip from The Office where Kevin's like, why say more word when little word do trick or something? And I thought he was talking like that. I remember doing that as a joke to a few of my friends. And for a good while. Well, not a good while, but like at least like maybe for like whenever I felt like it. So it's kind of hilarious that this actually didn't brush me off. But yeah, there's that. Yeah, and what was the other one? Oh, the Gmail. So if you guys see here, it's from, what is it? That actually, Apply Online Works. That site needs to be taken down as far as I'm concerned. But it seems like a legit URL. Gmail didn't have the freaking red lock thing, the secure SSL, whatever, make sure the email is secure or not flagged as spam or whatever. So I was like, oh, well, maybe I applied through here. Maybe, some job uses this site to, use their application software or whatever to hire whatever, right? So yeah, the red lock, usually when I see those, I usually just ignore the email, but in this case, there wasn't any. So, main point, why did your red flags not go off about the Gmail, right? Like, look at this. This is a personal Gmail. There's another personal Gmail. Like, I would have just walked out at this point. Oh my goodness. So why didn't I? Because I hope I can find the clip of YouTubers. But I think I remember it was my Yuko that talked about the interview process, and one of her advice was to go find the recruiter's email directly. So I thought I got lucky. I was like, hey, I got this recruiter's personal email. Sweet. Yeah, you cut the middleman, go straight to the recruiter. So I thought I was lucky in that regard. And yeah, so all these reasons compounded above just led for a really bad time. But also a fun time. My life is kind of boring, and what is it? At least this is a fun, entertaining story to tell, in a way. That's the bright side. And I almost didn't, and I didn't 49K. That would be so bad. Oh my goodness. Alright, so I think I got most of what I wanted to say. So right around here, when I heard the words wire transfer, finally my brain was like freaking waking up. Oh my god, it was finally working again. What are words you associate with wire transfer? What is it? Fraud, fast transaction, untraceable, hard to get back, irreversible. Like, all those words finally started popping into my brain, and finally my brain was like chugging along, and it finally got it. All right. And it's so early in the morning, guys. It was 9 a.m. And then I, went to the bank, deposited the check. If you look at the receipt, it says 9 a.m. Right. Let me just scroll down to it very quickly. I know I showed you guys this right here. Right. It's like 9:10 a.m. So deposited it, went back home, waited for the next instruction. Like, all right, next tracking code, please, or whatever. And yeah. Luckily, I'm glad he, asked for the wire transfer, because that's when it started. I wish he would have asked for gift cards. Like, I feel like I watched a few videos of those scams before, so that would have instantly snapped me out of it. But that was like really close. Like, really, really, oh my goodness. I'm waking up at freaking 6 a.m. California. They're in Florida, man. Like, 9 a.m. is their 9 a.m. is my 6 a.m. And why am I wake up so early? Because I want to be a good employee. Oh my god, there were days where I was waking up at 5. So I was very sleep deprived. Oh my god. Anywho, let's just wrap this up. I know it's been a bit too rambly and a bit too long for most of y'all. So here are some 4 video links of other people and their stories about getting scammed or nearly getting scammed. Here's the Hacker News link that blew up, that I didn't think was going to blow up, because I thought it was going to be buried in the sands of time. And some people came out. Tasty Freeze, I'm sorry your daughter got scammed, man. And, reading this, the thing that pained her the most was the shame of having been scammed. That hurts to read, man. Like, the feels. And, I hope she can look at my case and just, laugh at it, about my dumb reasoning. And hopefully one day she can get through this. I know it's easy for me to say in hindsight, to laugh at it, because I barely made it out alive. Yeah. Guys, jobs, you normally only ever think of gaining money, and scams, you of course lose money. They're on so opposite ends of the spectrum that I've never put the 2 words together until now. So it's not a surprise to me personally that, I fell for this, or other people could fall for this, really. And there are some insulting comments that are like, oh man, I would have, caught this day 2, day 1, second email, no problem. Typo, personal email. Oh my goodness. And I kind of never really thought that I thought this in terms this clear until I read this post by W. Pietree. Thanks for the comment. All right. So I'll just read it out loud first. Indeed, I think it's worth asking why victim shaming is such a common reaction to stories of scams. One part is the just world fallacy. Another is the fundamental attribution error. And one that I have definitely been guilty of is that it lets me feel smart. I, a genius, recognize the specific scam pattern. They, those helpless fools, they never see it coming. Ergo, I have once again proved my mental superiority. Yeah, no, I've definitely been guilty of that in my teenage years and maybe sometimes in my adult years. It really sucks. It feels like high school or middle school or, when you're a teenager and you have nothing going on with your life. And, this is the only thing, this is the only way you can think of to, boost your ego. And it's kind of, sorry, I'm laughing. It's not that healthy. And it's not even producing real value to the world. It's not even hard, right? It's not the hard thing that you should be, even grinding for or even thinking of these days. So yeah, I got some comments, saying, "Hey, aren't you ashamed of posting this?" Or like, "Props to OP for posting this, man. Like, you're brave and, you're getting made fun of because it's embarrassing because anyone would have recognized this day one." But no, I am angry and laughing at the same time, if that makes any sense. And I really hope the word can spread about this as much as possible. Like my embarrassment is completely overridden by rage, right? Like I really don't want anyone to freaking go through this ever again. And I hope people can laugh at my story and those who are victimized and stuff. So yeah, if you like this video, like it and share it with everyone you know. Spread the word out and share this webpage. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.